Hi guys, this is Karen. Welcome to my kitchen. A lot of people are asking me about my cupcake recipes. I thought I could show you better than I could write it down or tell you. So yesterday we had a really successful birthday party. We had cupcakes that were gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and nut-free. And when I say nut-free, I'm not including coconut. They do contain coconut when I make them this way. So if coconut's a problem, you would have to work out something different. Okay, so here we go. I start with Hodgkins Mills cupcake mixes or cake mixes because they are gluten-free, they are nut-free, very specifically. So, and they are the cake mix that holds up under this particular recipe that I'm talking about. So the brand does matter. There's a lot of brands here in this video, so maybe if it goes viral, maybe they'll send me a coupon or something. That'd be nice. Okay, so with my cake mix here, I followed the instructions for the most part. Let's see. Where it says to cream your butter until soft, instead of using butter, I use half a cup of this Spectrum Organic all vegetable shortening. Okay, and because shortening can dry your recipe out, I add about a tablespoon of coconut oil on top of that. So I blend those two together. Then I do as it says, I blend in the cake mix to that. Now after I do that, the next thing it says is add eggs, but my eggs are not going to be eggs, they're going to be a dry powder. So first I go ahead and I blend that dry powder into that mixture of shortening and cake mix. So I use, instead of 2 large eggs, I use 2 tablespoons of this egg replacer by Energy. Okay, that's my egg replacer, and I use 2 tablespoons of that. So I blend that into the mix. Then instead of buttermilk, I'm going to be using coconut milk, and because of that dry egg replacer, I have to add extra liquid. So I do about 1.25 cups of coconut milk, and when I get done here, if it's not enough, if my batter is still thick, I'll just go and I'll add some more until it's the right consistency. This is a thicker cake mix. It will be a nice, thick, fluffy cake mix, but you can kind of tell, like if it's too stiff to scoop it into the cupcake holders, well, you need more liquid. Okay, so I do that. I add vanilla. If you have people there who need to be nut free, then you're going to nix that almond extract. If you don't have anybody that just has to be nut free, that is a nice flavor, but you can get rid of that. It's not necessary. So I do that. I blend it up. I bake my cupcakes for about 24-25 minutes, and they come out really, really nicely. Now, for the dairy-free patrons, I make my own chocolate ganache to go on top, a nice chocolate frosting. I do this by using the Enjoy Life chocolate chips. I melted this whole bag on low, and at the same time I took some of this coconut milk and I warmed it in a different pan, and when I had the chocolate just melted, I took that warm coconut milk and I added just a little bit at a time until I had a nice creamy chocolate sauce, and it's automatically going to clump up when you pour the coconut milk in, so you just have to keep whisking and whisking and whisking with it gently warming until you melt all of those bumps out. So then you have a nice creamy smooth chocolate sauce. You're going to have to take it off the heat and let it start to cool, and just when it starts to set up and thicken, that's when you can take your cupcakes, just pick them up, turn them upside down, and dunk them in there and swirl them. And when you pull them out, the ganache will sit on top, and it's going to dry with this beautiful shiny glaze. Okay, for the other kids, for kids that can have dairy, and also for my husband because it's his favorite, I make a buttercream icing. So I take a stick of butter, I have it at room temperature, I cream it up with the blender, I add, I don't know, maybe 1/4 cup of coconut milk, and then I just start adding in powdered sugar until it whips up this nice whipped consistency. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla too to give it a vanilla flavor. And honestly, with your buttercream frosting, it's really about trusting your taste and your senses. You know what frosting would feel like if you open up a can of the gross stuff from the store. So that's what it's like. You want that consistency, that nice light whipped consistency that you can spread, and then also just taste it. And if you don't like the way it tastes, you can put more vanilla, you can put more powdered sugar, whatever you think. So that's what we did. Now also, you know, birthdays come once a year. A lot of these things I don't use on a daily basis. I don't do shortening all that often. I really don't bake just a whole lot. But once a year, it's a birthday. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I cheat. I do a little food coloring. I do a few marshmallows. They're gross, but you know, hey, once a year, right? So I made a marshmallow fondant and made some Doc McStuffins cupcakes. So this is my result. Nice, light, fluffy chocolate and vanilla cupcakes with either chocolate ganache or buttercream frosting and some pretty little decorations on top. And the good thing about that is if you just don't want your kids to have the food coloring, you know, pop it right off of there. It comes off. Toss it aside. Then they can eat the cupcake, but they still had a pretty cupcake they can look at. Their friends eat it, whatever. Alright, so I hope that helps. Hope you enjoyed my little cupcake video, and good luck and happy baking.